I'm Nancy Barker, and I was with Northwood for 39 years.
And I'm Bill Barker, and I have been around Northwood for 57 of the 59 years.
What you just saw is a peek to what we have in store for you in this exclusive brought to you by Timby Student Network. Values Emphasis Week has been going on since 1979. This year's Values Emphasis Week was full of amazing individuals, inspiring stories, and the reminder of the entrepreneurial spirit that's live and well here at Northwood University. Sit back, turn up the volume, and let's go to Carly Zubek to hear all about Tuesday's event and keynote speaker Spencer Stone.
On Tuesday, March 20th, Spencer Stone came to Northwood University and gave a speech on the backstory of his life. Mr. Stone talked about the train to Paris he was on when there was a terrorist attack while serving his country, and his struggle against the terrorists through hand-to-hand combat. After his remarkable speech, Mr. Stone interacted with students, and we were able to ask him a couple of questions.
Hey, Northwood students and alumni. My name's Spencer Stone. I was just able to give a speech here for you guys, and one of the things I talked about was having a good moral character and helping others. And one thing I want to say is, when you go throughout life, don't be a bystander. If you see someone in need, try and go help them out, and because you never know when you're going to need help, and you never know what good you can do in someone's life. And I know someone was asking me earlier, what do you think my purpose was in coming to the school? And I actually had a guy come over to me earlier and say that he didn't even know he was coming here until a few hours beforehand. And he thinks he knows why he came here now. He has a very similar story to my mother. He raised a bunch of his kids by himself. And he got a lot of inspiration from my story. And I think, honestly, that's why I came here, because my goal is, as long as I can reach at least one person, then I know I did my job, I did God justice.
Now let's go to TSN reporter Isabel Hess to hear all about Wednesday's plaster building dedication and keynote speaker Steve Goman.
On Wednesday, March 21st, a reception and ribbon cutting ceremony was held in the Robert W. Plaster Free Enterprise Building. President Keith Priddy opened the ceremony and gave the audience the history and renovation record that the university is extremely proud of. Goman spoke on his achievements in the state-of-the-art McNair Center Room in the Plaster Building.
So I'm Steve Goman. I'm the BB&T Distinguished Professor in Free Enterprise and also the Director of the John H. Schnatter Center for Free Enterprise. Northwood invited me here because I think they've heard about my talk on morality of capitalism, and I think that talk fits very well with the university's goals.
He concluded his speech with a one-on-one interview giving advice back to young professionals.
I think the best advice is you need to think long-term and not short-term. And if you think long-term, serving your customers, what's going to benefit your customers, you need to innovate all the time thinking about the long-term. You're going to be a much better entrepreneur, much better business person, and much more successful.
On Thursday evening, I had the pleasure of sitting down with keynote speaker of the Outstanding Alumni Awards, Jeff Hoffman. Let's take a look at what Jeff had to say. Northwood University held their 2018 Outstanding Alumni Awards on Thursday, March 22nd in Reitma Arena. The keynote speaker of the evening was entrepreneur, proven CEO, motivational speaker, Hollywood film producer, and published author Jeff Hoffman. Jeff has been part of a number of well-known companies, which include ubid.com, Priceline, Color Jar, and more. During Jeff Hoffman's visit on campus, I was able to sit down with him to hear more about his career and what's led him to where he is today. At what age did you know that you wanted to be a global business leader?
Actually, pretty young, but not business, the global part.
Okay.
And I just thought that the only way I was going to get to see the globe was if it was my business. And I will tell you, it started in 7th grade because we had to read a Mark Twain book, and Mark Twain had a quote that was on the first page of the book. I'm going to paraphrase it. The quote said, "Travel is the fatal enemy of prejudice." And I started thinking about that. Our teacher said, "What do y'all think that means?" And it means that the more world traveled you are, the more you understand the human race. Right? The more people like you spend time with, the more of an empathetic person you'll be. And I was like, man, I want to be that person. And I want to travel the globe. And then I started thinking, well, how am I going to do that? I'm poor, right? We grew up with no money. So I said, what if I got into a business where my job was to travel around the globe so I could get a chance to explore new cultures, then I could be that person that I wanted to be.
What fueled your success?
I would say, above all else, it might have been empathy, which is what I was trying to develop. And the reason that I said that is I figured out if I surrounded myself with people smarter than me, then I'd be able to get a lot more stuff done than I could ever do. But the way I was able to do that was by learning empathy, by actually listening to every individual person to find out who are you, what are you about, what do you care about, what do you want. So then I could figure out to design a reason and a career path for you to come join my company. If I want you to come join me on this journey, I got to figure out what you want, what are you trying to do, and what your goals are. So I learned to be a good listener. I would look around and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe the amazing team that I have. And I'd someday sit there and think, why do they all want to work for me? And they would say, because we feel like you're engaged with us and you care about what we're doing. So I think that empathy and listening skill enabled me to build a team of motivated people around me that were all smarter than me.
What have you done throughout your career to truly stick to your values?
You know what the answer to that is? Walked away a lot of times. There were times in my life where somebody put big money on the table and everybody said, man, you should take it. It's, your chance for fame and fortune. Mm-hmm. And I said, there's something about this deal or this person that violates my values. And I walked away. You know what somebody said to me once? They said, Jeff, have you ever heard the expression, nice guys finish last? I said, yeah, it's an old expression. They said, it's true. They said, if you're going to be Mr. Nice Guy or whatever, you'll never succeed. That actually made me more determined because I didn't believe that. I said, here's a crazy thought. What if it's the opposite? What if sticking to my values and treating people right and never doing the wrong thing right? Mistake, I'm not talking about mistakes, I'm talking about ethically and morally. Mm-hmm. What if I maintained a level of integrity that I would never violate for any amount of money? Maybe that would attract the kind of people I want to be around, and maybe that would cause me to succeed instead of prevent me. There are two business people that came to me that were going to make me successful and rich way back when. Both of them are in prison for fraud. And everybody around me said, you're an idiot, why didn't you take that deal? And I said, something doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. This person doesn't feel like we're the same. They're like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Actually, firmly holding to the values that count attracts the kind of people you want to be around, other people that have those values. And when you gather them together, amazing things happen. So turns out we succeeded while actually being nice. It is possible.
How challenging was that pressure for you?
There'll be times when you're alone at night and things aren't going great and you're like, I wonder if I made the right decision. Every time I concluded that I did. I know I made the right choices and did the right thing. And then later, when it turned out we were successful doing that, it felt even better to have succeeded the right way, not the fast way or the easy way.
What would you say out of all of your success has been the biggest achievement for you?
The biggest achievement for me is the opportunity as a business owner to create opportunities for other people. One day I'm sitting in my office and my assistant says, you better come see this guy. This guy comes in the office. It's a young man from Vietnam, barely speaks English. He's got these like wet papers in his hand that turns out is his resume. And he's looking down. And in this defeated voice, without even making eye contact, he says, yeah, I know, you don't want to hire me either, sorry. And I was like, well, I don't want to hire you with that attitude. What's your story? And he says, I escaped Vietnam. And he said, now we're in the U.S. and I'm just trying to feed my family. I said, you're hired. And he said, to do what? I said, I'll figure it out tomorrow. Here's what happened. My employees loved him so much, they took turns teaching him English at night. And the programmers took turns on weekends teaching him how to write code. Today, the guy has a beautiful home, a wife, 2 daughters in college, and he's the VP of a big IT company. My point is, if I hadn't worked hard enough to build a company where I could hire people, I could never open that door. So for me, the biggest accomplishment is I've been able to create opportunities for other people and positively impact someone else's life besides my own. That means the most to me.
That's an amazing story, very touching, and shows a lot about your character as well.
Thank you.
What advice could you offer Northwood University students who hope to be in your shoes someday?
Go forward boldly. Don't listen to the naysayers when they make fun of your dreams and your goals. And every time I had another big dream, everybody laughed at me. People said, why can't you just get a job like everyone else? Tune all that out. Don't let people talk you out of your dreams, and then just boldly go. The worst thing in life is not failing. The shame in life is in not trying. If you try and you fail, you can shake it off, right? If our film company, our production company had failed, I could live with it because we gave it our best shot and it wasn't meant to be. But if I never tried, I would have spent my whole life looking at you guys making productions and saying, man, I wonder if I could have done that. So go forth boldly, try things, stumble, fail, get up and try again. While everyone else is sitting safely behind the sidelines on the couch where it's safe and home, you should be out there trying. Again, even when you fail, you'll have a much better story than the person that never left the couch.
Friday wrapped up Values Emphasis Week with the celebration of Founders Day. Let's go to TSN reporter Sydney Murphy to hear all about this excitement.
Favorite part of Founders Day? Well, honestly, this was probably one of the best ones.
Let's hear it for the man. Right there he is.
I started in 1998, so that's been 20 years ago.
I started out as one-man band, one-man piano band, and I actually saw Smokin' George.
Stage name, Smokin' George.
This is Smokin' George, everybody.
.com, you can check it out, smokingeorge.com.
So I saw him and another guy playing in Traverse City, Michigan.
Okay.
And for the first time and thought, this is for me. I love this. I mean, I get the one-man band, that's fun, but these guys are in your face. It's a front man act, so I thought, I think I'd rather do this. And so I talked to Smokin' George and Billy, and they signed me up.
What is the core purpose of Founders Day? Why do we celebrate it, and why should students appreciate it?
Well, the core purpose is to celebrate the founding of Northwood University, and it falls within Values Emphasis Week. And during Values Emphasis Week, we want to make sure that we are reminded and we celebrate our code of ethics, the Northwood idea, and now I've taken the liberty to maybe even introduce something else that we're going to celebrate during Values Emphasis Week, and that is our mantra of Go Mad, or Go Make a Difference.
I became Northwood's first woman officer, which is really something I'm still very, very proud of, although lots of firsts for women nowadays, and so it probably doesn't sound so significant, but at the time it really was wonderful.
I had a piece of land for sale that the chairman of Northwood's search committee thought would be ideal for Northwood. And my original part of Northwood was that Northwood wanted the land, and Northwood had no money, and I arranged that the Dow Chemical Company made the land available to Northwood, and that's why the campus is here in Michigan. We're sitting right in the middle of that land.
When Bill made this proposal to the Dow Chemical board of directors, why some people were not so sure this was a good idea, but Dr. Doan, who was the chairman of the board, why thought it was a great idea. And he said, you know, I don't know how we can deny these young men their dream. And when I was looking at the films that were shown tonight on the 59th anniversary celebration, I looked at Arthur Turner and Gary Stauffer, who were, just in their late 20s and early 30s, if you can imagine. I mean, can you imagine? Just think, you can't be very far from that, It was kind of outrageous to think that they were going to found a college, for heaven's sake, and it was a dream.
I'm looking forward to making the 60th anniversary next year spectacular. We're really already starting to plan for that, so I'm really looking forward to making the 60th something special.
We hope you enjoyed this exclusive on Values Emphasis Week right here on Northwood's campus. Check us out all over social media for further content.